The clock struck midnight at Seoul National University. Most students had gone home, but 3 young women remained in the small study room at the back of the library. Jisoo rubbed her tired eyes as she flipped through another history book. Her short black hair fell across her face as she leaned over her notes. Next to her, Minji was busy taking apart an old radio. Her clever hands moved quickly, fixing what others thought was broken. On the other side of the table, Hannah wrote in a notebook, practicing words in 5 different languages. "I need coffee," Jisoo said with a yawn. "The cafe closed hours ago," Minji replied without looking up from her work. Hannah closed her notebook. "We should go home. It's late." Suddenly, the lights flickered. Once, twice, then went out completely. Power outage. Minji wondered, reaching for her phone to use as a light. A strange humming sound filled the room. The windows glowed with an eerie blue light from outside. The 3 friends looked at each other with wide eyes. "What is that?" Jisoo whispered, moving to the window. Outside, a massive shape blocked the night sky. It was like nothing they had ever seen before, a huge dark object with pulsing lights along its edge. That can't be." Minji couldn't finish her sentence. The humming grew louder. The blue light became blinding. The girls grabbed each other's hands as the floor beneath them seemed to disappear. When Jisoo opened her eyes, she was no longer in the library. The air smelled strange, metallic, and clean. She lay on a cold floor in a room with walls that glowed softly. Minji and Hannah were beside her, just waking up. "Where are we?" Hannah asked, her voice shaking. Before anyone could answer, a door slid open without a sound. 2 tall figures entered. They looked almost human, but their skin had a slight blue tint, and their eyes were too large, too dark. "The specimens are awake," one said in perfect Korean, though its mouth barely moved. "Specimens." Minji stood up, her hands balled into fists. "We are not specimens." The second creature tilted its head. "Interesting. This one shows spirit. Who are you? What do you want?" Jisoo demanded, helping Hannah to her feet. "We are Tarok. You are now property of the Tarok Empire." The creature's voice was flat, emotionless. "You 3 were chosen for your skills. The historian, the engineer, and the language expert." Jisoo felt a chill run down her spine. "How do you know about us?" "We have watched your planet for centuries. You will serve the Empire now." As the 3 friends huddled together, a window opened in the wall, revealing the blackness of space. Earth was visible in the distance, a small blue marble growing smaller as the ship moved away. They were leaving everything they knew behind, and they had no idea what waited for them among the stars. 3 days after their abduction, the ship finally stopped. The 3 friends had been kept in separate rooms since their arrival. Now, guards came to take them away. Jisoo was led through long hallways with high ceilings. Everything was made of a strange metal that seemed to glow from within. She saw aliens of different shapes and colors walking past. Some looked almost human. Others had extra limbs or scales or fur. The guard stopped at a large door. "This is the Imperial Archives. You will work here now." The door opened to reveal a vast room filled with glowing screens and strange devices. A young male Tarok approached. He looked kinder than the others, with softer eyes. "I am Doyen," he said. "I will show you your duties." As they walked through the archives, Doyen spoke quietly. "Not all Taroks support what has happened to you. Some of us wish things were different." Jisoo looked at him in surprise, but he quickly changed the subject as others passed by. Across the city, Minji was pushed into a large workshop. Machines of all sizes filled the space. Some Tarok worked at tables, building small devices. Others operated large equipment. A tall Tarok with a stern face walked over. "I am Jun, head engineer. You will work under my command." Minji stood tall. "I want to see my friends." Jun's face hardened. "You are here to work, not make demands. Your human engineering is primitive, but you show potential. Learn from us, and perhaps you will earn privileges." He handed her a tool she didn't recognize. "Fix this power converter. Let me see what you can do." Minji took the tool, her mind already studying how it worked. In another building, Hannah found herself in a room filled with sounds. Recordings played from devices all around her. Different languages, some human, most alien, filled the air. An elderly Terok approached her slowly, using a walking stick. His face was lined with age. "Welcome to communications," he said kindly. "I am Suo." Unlike the others, Suo treated her with respect. He showed her to a desk with a strange headset. "You have a gift for languages," he said. "We monitor communications from thousands of worlds. You will help us understand them." Hannah put on the headset and heard voices speaking in languages she'd never heard before. Yet somehow, patterns began to form in her mind. That night, in their separate quarters, each girl looked out at the strange city. Tall towers reached toward 3 moons in the sky. Ships flew between buildings. It was beautiful and terrifying. None of them could sleep. They all had the same thought. Somehow, they needed to find each other again. And then, they would find a way home. But as the days passed, they began to realize a terrible truth. The Terok Empire wasn't just their captor. It was the enemy of freedom across the entire galaxy. 3 months passed. Jisoo learned to use the archive systems. She read about thousands of worlds that the Terok had conquered. One day, while searching through files, she found something that made her heart stop. Plans for Earth. The Terok called it cultural integration. But the details showed the truth. They planned to take over Earth in just 2 years. That night, Jisoo waited until her room was dark. She pulled out a small device she had taken from the archives. Doyen had shown her how it worked. It could send messages that the Terok couldn't track. With shaking hands, she turned it on and typed, "Minji, Hana, are you there?" For a long moment, nothing happened. Then words appeared. "Jisoo, is that you? It's Minji." Another message followed. "I'm here too, Hana." Tears filled Jisoo's eyes. After 3 months, she had found her friends. "We need to meet," she wrote. "I found something terrible." They met in a quiet corner of the food hall the next day. They had to be careful. Guards were always watching. "Earth is in danger," Jisoo whispered as they pretended to eat. "The Terok will attack in 2 years." Minji leaned closer. "I've been studying their ships and weapons. They have weaknesses. Their defense systems have flaws that I could exploit. And I've learned something interesting," Hannah said. "All the languages of the conquered species share patterns. I can understand most of them now, and they can understand me." Jisoo looked at her friends with new hope. "So you could talk to other slaves?" Hannah nodded. "I already have. There are many who hate the Terok. They just have no way to fight back." "Maybe we can give them a way," Minji said. "With my knowledge of their technology and Hannah's ability to communicate across species, and what I've learned about their history and plans," Jisoo added, "we might be able to do something." "But what?" Hannah asked. "We're just 3 humans against an empire." Jisoo thought about Doyen, how he had hinted that not all Terok supported the empire. "I think we may have allies we don't know about yet." Minji's eyes lit up with determination. "Even if we don't, we have to try. Not just for Earth, but for all the worlds they've conquered. For everyone they've enslaved," Hannah agreed. As they separated to return to their posts, a new feeling replaced their fear. Something stronger. Something the Terok would never expect from 3 human girls. The seeds of rebellion had been planted, and they were about to grow. None of them noticed the Terok officer who watched them from across the room. Commander Kyung narrowed his eyes. Something was happening with the humans, something he didn't like at all. Jisoo waited nervously in the small storage room. Doyen had asked her to meet him here, away from the cameras and guards. When the door opened, Doyen wasn't alone. With him were 2 aliens Jisoo had never seen before. "These are friends," Doyen said quietly. They are part of the Stellar Liberation Front. One alien had purple skin and 4 arms. The other was small with large eyes. Both looked at Jisoo with hope. "We fight against the Empire in secret," the 4-armed alien explained. "Doyen says you and your friends want to join us." Jisoo nodded. "We do. And we have skills that can help." A week later, Minji sat in the engineering lab after hours. Everyone else had left. She carefully placed a tiny device inside a Terra communication unit. It would record all messages but couldn't be detected. June walked in unexpectedly. Minji froze. "What are you doing here so late?" he asked suspiciously. Minji's heart raced. "Just finishing my work," she said, closing the panel quickly. June looked at her for a long moment. "You're different from other humans we've taken. Smarter. More determined." "Thank you," Minji said, not sure if it was a compliment. June left, but Minji knew he was watching her more closely now. In the communications center, Hana had created a new system. On the surface, she was translating messages between alien worlds as ordered. But hidden within those translations were secret codes. Slaves across the Empire could now talk to each other without the Terek knowing. "Your work is excellent," Suo told her, looking at her latest translations. Hana felt guilty deceiving the kind old Terek, but reminded herself what was at stake. "Thank you. I enjoy learning the languages." "You have a special gift," Suo said. "I sometimes wonder if we were wrong to take you from your world." Hana looked up in surprise, but Suo had already turned away. Commander Kyung stood before the Terek High Council, his face grim. "Something is happening across the Empire," he reported. "Small acts of disobedience, systems failing, messages we can't decode." "And you think the humans are responsible?" asked one council member. "Not just them. But since their arrival, the problems have increased. They bring new ideas that our enemies never had before. Then perhaps we should eliminate them," another council member suggested. Kyung shook his head. "Not yet. I want to find everyone they're working with first. The entire network." That night, the 3 friends met with resistance members from 6 different species. Each day, their network grew larger. Minji shared methods to sabotage Terek technology without being caught. Hana taught them how to communicate secretly, and Jisoo shared what she learned about Terek plans. For the first time since their capture, they felt powerful. The Terek had made a big mistake bringing them to this world. They had no idea that human girls could be so dangerous. Jisoo spent every free moment in the deepest parts of the archives. These old records were rarely checked by anyone. Today, she searched through files about the early Terek Empire. Something didn't make sense in the official history. A small file caught her eye. It was hidden behind other records, almost as if someone wanted it forgotten. She opened it and gasped. The file showed images of the Terek attacking another species called the Orcs. The text described a bloody war, not a peaceful joining as official history claimed. The Orcs had once been the true founders of the Empire, but the Terek had taken it from them, and then changed all the records. "This is a lie," Jisoo whispered. "Their whole empire is built on lies." As she dug deeper, she found more hidden files. Many conquered civilizations had developed amazing technologies before the Terek destroyed them. Some of these technologies were far more advanced than what the Terek now used. That night, Jisoo shared her discovery with Minji and Hana. "If we can find these lost technologies in the records, maybe we can rebuild them," Minji said, her eyes bright with excitement. Hana nodded. "And I can help translate the old instructions. Many of these species' languages are in my database now." "This could change everything," Jisoo said. "The Terek didn't create the technologies they used to control everyone. They stole them and then destroyed the evidence. And they made everyone forget their true history," Hana added. "That's the most terrible thing of all." For the next month, the 3 friends worked in secret. Jisoo found more hidden records. Hana translated ancient texts. Minji studied the old designs, figuring out how the forgotten technologies worked. "I think I can build this," Minji said one day, showing them plans for a device. "It's a disruptor. It can shut down Terok weapons without hurting anyone." "With these, the resistance could actually fight back," Jisoo said. Hana looked worried. "Kyung is watching us more closely. I've seen his guards following me." "Then we need to work faster," Minji replied. "I'll need parts from the engineering lab." "That's too dangerous," Jisoo warned. "We have no choice," Minji said. "Earth has less than 2 years left." Commander Kyung stood in the central security room, watching screens that showed the 3 humans. "What are they doing now?" he asked a guard. "The engineer spends extra time in the lab. The language expert talks to other slaves when she thinks no one is watching. And the historian is always searching through old archives." Kyung's eyes narrowed. "Increased surveillance. I want to know everything they do." What he didn't know was that the humans had already discovered the Empire's greatest secret. The Terok's power was built on a foundation of lies. And soon, those lies would be exposed to the entire galaxy. Minji worked through the night. Her fingers moved quickly as she built the small devices. Each one looked like a simple metal ball. But inside was complex technology from a long-dead civilization. 10 disruptors complete, she whispered to herself. Not many, but enough for the first attack. She jumped when the lab door opened. Jun stood there, watching her. "What are you making?" he asked, walking closer. Minji's heart beat fast. She couldn't lie about the objects on her table. "Something that will help people." Jun picked up one of the balls. He studied it carefully. "This is not Terok technology." "No," Minji said. "It's older. Better." Jun was quiet for a long moment. "I know what you and your friends are doing," he finally said. Minji prepared to fight. She would not be stopped now. "I want to help," Jun said, surprising her completely. 3 days later, the largest Terok holiday arrived. Thousands gathered in the capital city to celebrate the Empire. The Emperor himself would appear in public. Resistance members were in place throughout the crowd. Each carried one of Minji's devices. Jisoo and Hana watched from a balcony above. "Will it work?" Hana asked nervously. "We're about to find out," Jisoo replied. The Emperor appeared on the main stage. Guards with weapons surrounded him. The crowd cheered, but not everyone. Many slaves were forced to attend. Minji gave the signal. All at once, resistance members activated their devices. A wave of energy spread across the square. Suddenly, all Terok weapons stopped working. Guards looked at their guns in confusion. And then, chaos erupted. Slaves who had been waiting for this moment fought back against their masters. For the first time, the Terok had no advantage. Similar attacks happened on 20 other planets at exactly the same time. The resistance had planned carefully. Commander Kyung couldn't believe the reports coming in. "How is this possible?" he shouted. "Find the humans. They're behind this." In the communications center, Suo watched Hana as she sent secret messages to resistance groups. "You know," he said quietly, "I have waited a long time for someone brave enough to challenge the Empire." Hana turned to him in shock. "I am too old to fight," Suo continued, "but I can give you information that will help your cause." Back in the capital, Minji watched from hiding as people celebrated their first taste of freedom. Jun stood beside her. "Why did you decide to help us?" she asked him. "Because you showed me the truth," he replied. "The Empire has lost its way. What we're doing to other worlds, it's wrong." For the first time since their abduction, the 3 human girls felt real hope. The rebellion had begun. But they knew the Terok would fight back harder than ever. The real battle was just beginning. The Emperor's face was twisted with rage as he addressed the High Council. "Find these rebels and crush them," he shouted. "Send every ship we have." Commander Kyung stood at attention. "My Emperor, I have discovered the source of our problems. The 3 human females are leading the resistance. They have spread dangerous ideas across the Empire." "Then eliminate them," the Emperor ordered. Kyung bowed. It will be done. In the resistance base, Jisoo, Minji, and Hana planned their next move. The first attacks had been successful, but the Terok were now hunting them with all their forces. We need to tell everyone the truth, Jisoo said, about the real history of the Empire. How? Minji asked. We can't reach that many planets at once. Hana's eyes lit up. Actually, we can. Suo gave me access codes to the emergency broadcast system. It reaches every planet in the Empire at once. If we use that, there's no going back, Minji warned. They'll find us for sure. Jisoo nodded, but it might be our only chance. 2 days later, they were ready. Doyen and Jun had helped them set up the equipment in an abandoned building. Resistance members stood guard outside. Are the files ready? Hana asked Jisoo. Yes. All the truth about the Empire, the real history of every conquered world. Minji finished connecting the last wire. The system is ready, but we'll only have a few minutes before they trace the signal. Jisoo took a deep breath. Let's do it. Hana entered Suo's access codes. Screens lit up across the room. They were now connected to every communication device in the Empire. Jisoo stepped forward and began to speak. Her voice reached billions of beings on thousands of worlds. People of the galaxy, my name is Jisoo. I am from Earth. What I am about to show you is the true history of the Terok Empire. Images began to play. The conquest of the Vorx, the destruction of ancient civilizations, the lies the Terok had told for centuries. You were not peacefully brought into the Empire, Jisoo continued. You were conquered. Your true histories were erased, but we have found the truth in the Terok's own secret archives. In homes and public squares across the galaxy, people watched in shock. Many had suspected the truth, but now they had proof. On hundreds of worlds, new rebellions began. The Terok military suddenly faced too many enemies on too many fronts. Commander Kyung's soldiers burst into the broadcast room, but they were too late. The humans had escaped, and the damage was done. Kyung stared at the abandoned equipment. His communicator beeped with emergency messages from across the Empire. This isn't over, he growled. Find them. And prepare the fleet. We're going to Earth. Now, they're heading to Earth, Doyen said, rushing into the room where the 3 girls were hiding. Kyung has taken the Imperial fleet. They plan to attack your world early. Jisoo's face went pale. But Earth has no way to defend against their ships. We have to warn them, Hana said. Minji stood up quickly. We need to get there first. How? Jisoo asked. We don't have a ship fast enough to beat the fleet. Jun stepped forward from the shadows. Actually, we do. I can get us access to a Terok speed jumper. It's the fastest ship they have. Hours later, they were racing through space. Doyen piloted the stolen ship while Minji worked to make it go even faster. Will we make it in time? Hana asked, looking at the stars streaking past the windows. We'll be close, Doyen replied. The main fleet is taking a longer route to gather more ships. Jisoo watched her friends working to save their home. Even if we get there first, how can we help Earth fight the Terok? Minji smiled. I've been working on that. She pointed to crates filled with the disruptor devices. I made hundreds of them, enough to protect major cities. And I've contacted other resistance ships, Hana added. They're coming to help. Earth appeared in the distance, beautiful and blue. Home. But they were not the only ones arriving. Kyung's advanced ships were already entering Earth's atmosphere. We need to move fast, Jisoo said. Doyen, can you contact Earth's governments? Already working on it, he replied. Soon, they were speaking with military leaders from around the world. At first, the Earth officials didn't believe them, but when Terok ships began appearing in the sky, they listened. These devices will disable their weapons, Minji explained quickly. And our allies are coming to help. The battle was chaos. Terok ships filled Earth's skies. But thanks to the warning, Earth was not completely unprepared. Fighter jets carried Minji's disruptors. When activated, the Terok ships lost power and weapons. Hana coordinated communications between Earth forces and alien resistance fighters who arrived to Hell. Jisoo and Doyeon took their small ship directly to Kyung's command vessel. They needed to stop him before the main fleet arrived. As they fought their way through the ship, they finally reached the command center. Kyung stood waiting for them, a look of cold anger on his face. "You humans have ruined everything," he said. "No," Jisoo replied. "We just showed everyone the truth." Jisoo stepped forward, holding an old dated device. "There's one more truth you should know, Commander, about the Terok themselves." She activated the device, showing images from ancient records. "Your people were once slaves too," she said. "You overthrew your masters, the Orcs, but then you became exactly what you had fought against." Kyung stared at the images, his face showing shock and then understanding. 3 months after the Battle of Earth, representatives from hundreds of worlds gathered in a large hall in Seoul. The room buzzed with many languages as aliens of all shapes and sizes met for the first Galactic Council. At the center table sat 3 human women. Jisoo, Minji, and Hana had become heroes not just to Earth, but to the entire galaxy. "I never thought we would be back home hosting aliens," Hana whispered to her friends. "And definitely not as equals instead of prisoners." The Terok Empire had fallen quickly after the battle. When Commander Kyung saw the truth about his own people's past, something changed in him. He ordered his fleet to stand down. Other Terok commanders, hearing the true history of their species, did the same. Now Kyung entered the hall. He looked different without his military uniform. More humble. "Are we ready to begin?" he asked Jisoo. She nodded and stood to address the room. "Today, we start a new chapter in galactic history, not based on lies and control, but on truth and cooperation." Jisoo explained how she would lead a team to rebuild the galactic archives, preserving the true history of all worlds. "No one's past will ever be erased again," she promised. Minji spoke next. "Technology will be shared equally among all worlds." She looked at June, who now worked alongside her. "No species will use advanced weapons to control others." Finally, Hana stood. "And we will all be able to speak to each other." She activated a small device, and her words were instantly translated into hundreds of languages. Understanding is the first step toward peace. Suho, the elderly Terok who had helped them, smiled proudly from his seat. Doyeon approached the 3 friends after the meeting. "Earth is officially part of the galactic community now," he said. "What will you do next?" "Keep working," Jisoo replied simply. "There's so much history still to restore." "And technology to share," Minji added. "And people to connect," Hana finished. That evening, the 3 friends stood on a hill overlooking Seoul. In the sky above, ships from many worlds twinkled like new stars. "Do you ever think about how it all started?" Minji asked. "We were just studying in the library. And now we've helped change the galaxy," Hana said. Jisoo smiled at her friends. The Terok thought they were capturing 3 helpless girls. They never imagined we would rewrite their history. As the sun set, the 3 friends looked up at the stars. Once they had seemed distant and unreachable. Now they were the beginning of a new adventure. The galaxy would never be the same. And neither would they.